Thunder cracks created steps in the alley. Demons scatter quick, shadows play a rally. Angels pull up in hoodies, wings tucked tight. Heaven's militia ready to ignite. Chains rattling, streets screaming in pain. Evil out here wildin', trying to stake its claim. But the squad don't sleep, nah, they don't fold. Flame swords drawn, their wrath runs cold. Creator fights for you, the streets can't deny. Angels on patrol, wings cut in the sky. Evil runs, evil hides, it's a battle every night. But the light don't lose, nah, the light gon' fight. Concrete jungle where prayers get raw. Creator got that blueprint, he lays down the law. Angels circle the block, halos dim for war. They ain't here for peace talks, they settle the score. Knuckles crack, fists fly, darkness gets smacked. Evil got no alibi, caught in the act. Holy vengeance on deck, justice intact. Creator's army on the streets, never off track. Midnight sirens, but they don't need no badge. Heaven soldiers turn sin into ash. Midnight sirens, but they don't need no badge. Heaven soldiers turn sin into ash.
You're muted, bro. There.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to special edition. This is Midnight Monsters you're getting to tonight, and we're going to be talking about the werewolves and Dogman, the Rougarou, and several other canine cryptids of the night. So that being said, I'm going to get into the disclaimers, and we'll get into it. All right, this channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the fair use, which is the Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, which makes allowances for fair use for purposes such as criticism, parody, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, and entertainment value. Again, it's under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known as the fair use. Okay. Second disclaimer, and I don't know why I got to do this. I might even have to put a third up because they're still demonetizing me, folks. All right. As always, I claim fair use of all content under the Copyright Act of 1976. Furthermore, I wish to acknowledge that not all the opinions and theories mentioned during the podcast are necessarily the opinions or views of Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel and or aka me, William Nighthawk. We at Nighthawk High Strangeness YouTube channel and Facebook channels merely bring this open format to discussion the possibilities and the topics happening in the past, present, and future. Please join the Nighthawk High Strangeness YouTube channel family by subscribing, and please hit that like button. Join the chat family, be respectful, and please put all questions in capital letters. Thank you. And also tonight we're going to try to keep the questions towards the end because I got quite a bit of information I'm going to be spewing out here all at once, and I don't want everybody to get it confused. Okay, so just bear with me. Say hello to Eric. There's my fluffy fuzzy friend Eric, my brother from my Missouri mother. And I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat. Hello, everybody in the chat. Roxanne, good to see you. All right, who else we got? We got Urso, good to have you here. Wizard Moon, good to have you. And then we got Tanya, Unreal, Okay, and we have who else? I know we got others in here. Yeah, let's see. Corey's in the house. That's right. Okay. Not only Corey, but Marcy's in the house too. Marcy was in early. She was in here around 8 o'clock tonight. I don't even think I was back here by then. Let's see who else we got. Yeah, Urso, thank you for being here. I appreciate that, my friend. Let's see. Squatch Topic, Josh. Good to see you, brother. You stay out of them caves by yourself, man. All right. Okay, Eric, how are you doing tonight? Uh-oh, you're muted. How are you muted? Now you're not. Can't unmute the guest because they chose to mute themselves.
There we go.
All right,
I
you're
guess
muted
I
yourself.
accidentally hit it. Yeah, I guess I accidentally hit it. Yeah, I'm fair to middling. A little poopered out today, but yeah, not bad.
All right, well, this is going to pretty much be our Halloweeny type of a special, guys. So that's one of the reasons why I picked this subject for tonight. Jonas, good to see you. So happy Halloweeny, everybody. I hope you get all the candy you want and get more tricks than you do treats, especially if Carl's listening. Anyways, we're going to get into the Dogman first off, okay? And this is such a fascinating subject because a brother of mine, Mr. Frivo from Monstrous Podcast, I know he's probably going to listen to this later on. He's probably busy tonight, though. He is a phenomenal guy. If you haven't followed him, follow his podcast, okay? He looks at things more analytically than most. He wants to be proof, okay? And sometimes there's just things out there that you can't get the Jason, good to see you. The the proof that you require that things are what they are. And I say that only because I come from a supernatural paranormal point of view. Okay. And especially with my upbringing, being Native American and some of our ceremonies that I was taught and stuff. You all know about them. We'll get into those another time when I'm closer to leaving this world so I can disclose a lot of it and a lot of the ritual, which I won't disclose right now. But when we question everything, we have to look at every angle, like Eric and I have continually said in the past. Okay. We have to literally look at every aspect of what it could be, not just is it flesh and blood, okay, but not is a misidentification, which does happen because adrenaline rushes and fear, all that has to play in it. Um, but we literally want you to question everything, okay, which includes the supernatural and includes the paranormal, okay. And I know from dealing with the subjects in the past with supernatural and paranormal that the two are connected. Cryptids are connected to the paranormal and to the supernatural. But that's just my own opinion from my own experiences. Okay. So, werewolves, dogman, rougarou, skinwalkers. It's going to be quite the subject tonight, Eric. I'm going to start with the dogman. No other state comes to play more in dogman sightings from the past to the present than the state of Michigan. Okay. In 1937, in Paris, Michigan, Robert Forney claimed to have seen 5 of these wild dogs. Okay, 5 of them, which is considered a pack. But one of them stood on its hind legs and reached for him. Okay. That's how close he was to these things. Okay. Main House, good to see you. So that was in 1937 in Paris, Michigan. 1950, similar sightings of a large canine-like creature were reported in Allegheny County, Michigan, okay, in the 1950s. 1960s, reports continued into the 1960s from locals in locations like Cross Village and Manistee. Manistee, I think that's what it is. Manistee, yeah, Michigan. So, all the way to the 60s, 1960s. In 1987, of course, we have that great it was supposed to be the April Fool's prank of the decade, and it really ignited a fire under people to report their encounters with seeing the Dogman. And that was in 1987. The modern legend of the Michigan Dogman was popularized by the local radio DJ who released the song about the creature as an April Fool's Day prank. That song generated widespread attention, and dozens of people subsequently contacted the radio station with their own alleged sightings. Fascinating how that can happen. So, now, the first recorded Dogman encounter in North America was like I said, in 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan. Okay, when two lumberjacks reported seeing a creature with the man's body and the dog's head, or a wolf-like head. However, other earlier accounts of similar creatures, such as a French fur trader's 1800 encounter in the northern Michigan area and a 1937 attack on Robert Fortney in Paris, Michigan, also mentioned in relation to the legend. These are both fascinating instances because 1887 is about the time frame that my old man told me, my father told me, and my uncles told me that Native people started reporting amongst themselves coming across tribes, literally wild tribes of these things in the Yukon area and the Nahanni Valley. Okay. And they reported them as being a cursed nation. Okay. So apparently they were cursed and never to transform back into a human form 100%. They were meant to take on the dog form. And hence came forth the Native American legend of the Dog Man. Okay. So that being said, Bounty, good to see you. That being said, there are reports going back even farther than that if you go back to oral tradition. But it's just miraculous, how people, they want the undisputed body on a slab. Okay. Well, you're not going to get that with the Dog Man. Okay. Because first off, if you've ever dealt with a wolf or any type of a canine pack, you know that it's all or nothing. Okay. So they will do everything in their power to avoid humans. Okay. Unless the humans are dumb enough to get into their area and jeopardize the safety of their area and their pack. Okay. David, good to see you. So that's where we stand with the Dogman in Michigan and the Yukon area. Now, I know there's been sightings of it all around North America now, from Canada on down to Mexico, and even into South America, there's been reports of them. But you can't help but think that maybe, just maybe, it could be a misidentification in some cases. Kind of like what my father and my uncles told me about Bear Man, and how I really think Bear Man can be attributed to sightings of the Gugway. Okay, that's the Bigfoot with the snout. Okay, I'm a firm believer in my opinion that is an exact connection. Okay, now could the Gugway also be considered a canine cryptid that has the head of like say a hyena? That's been reported in Texas, in swamp areas of Texas. by numerous hunters and fishermen and trappers. So yeah, it could be. It very well could be the short, thick snout. Okay, you never know. It could very well be misinterpreted as a dogman hyena form. Okay, but that being said, physical evidence. Well, what more physical evidence do we have other than the blurry photos and the creditable people that are reporting the sightings, all the way down from doctors to law enforcement to people driving at midnight on a secluded road coming back from work, leaving work at 11 and being on the road late at night and encountering the thing on the side of the road by tree lines. It is almost ironic that people don't see the correlation to possible supernatural connections in these aspects. I mean, we talk about in the paranormal field, we talk about residual energy all the time, okay, and how that happens, Eric. And why can't some of the things that being seen have a supernatural base to them? That's what gets me with the Dogman sightings. Okay, like I always said, red eyes, it's supernatural. Okay. Now, getting into the werewolf, here's another one that and this is one that's kind of right up my alley, to tell you the truth. Werewolf is said to be a mythological human who can shapeshift into a wolf human creature. According to folklore, this transformation is most often occurring at night, especially with a full moon, but a more aggressive beast will evolve during a blood moon or a supermoon, making it even harder to control and to fend off. Okay. The aggressive abilities to transform during this time attributes to a curse triggered by the full moon, and the blood moon and the supermoon actually intensifies that curse. Okay. So, though other causes of transforming include magical items like the wolf skins, belts, wolf shields to wear, eating wolf meat, wearing the curse of the mark of the curse on the left hand because it is connected to your heart, and even being bitten by a wolf. Okay. And there's other ways too that you could actually be given the curse. Okay. Although it is said to be the only myth, even though numerous witnesses have come forward, it's still classified by science as fiction or such as a fairy tale. And that is sad. Okay. That is truly sad when they classify it as a fairy tale or fiction, because then they're not even giving it the full question everything type of a theory. That being said, we're going to get into the Rougarou. Hey, Hillbilly, good to see you. The Rougarou, my favorite. Okay. The Rougarou is a werewolf-like creature from the swamps of Louisiana, Mississippi, and parts of Texas, Arkansas, and Alabama. Okay. Typically a cursed person transforming exactly into a wolf human creature with sharp teeth, fur-covered body, and sadness in its eyes. Originally, Rougarou came from France, if I was given the chance, with Arcadian settlers to Louisiana. Okay, the curse, which has been said to last 101 days to eternity, until a family member cuts the Rougarou with a knife, drawing blood. Okay. Now, ironically, there are several Native American accounts of this same type of a creature being said that when we use our pejuta sapas, our bladed weapons that are blessed by medicine people, to fend off the supernatural elements out there, and creatures that we tend to have to draw blood to in order to suffice the curse, to either remove the curse or to unalive the subject of the curse. Okay, to separate the curse from the human form. Okay, so those of you also that know something about native culture know that the Wendigo is the same theory. There is a bladed knife out there that you could use, but you have to cut and remove the heart of the Wendigo. Okay, so another way to deal with werewolves, rougarous, and even Wendigos, and even skinwalkers, believe it or not. And I shouldn't be saying this because I got some dark brothers and sisters out there that know me and know that I sometimes I shouldn't say things, but this will be okay, okay? Because there's a certain way you have to do it in order to make it effective, and of course, it is fire, okay? But when you're dealing with a walker, you're dealing with a certain way of doing the fire, okay, to fend them off or to remove the spell or possession of the medicine person that's under the spell, okay? So I'm going to keep that to myself, but fire is a way to cleanse everything, okay? Just so you know. All right, I am going to take a break and we're going to get into some of the questions and stuff, aspect of it. And as I do that, I'm going to make another cup of coffee here. So I'm going to turn my mic off. If you want to go ahead and read the questions, I'll go ahead and answer them when they come up.
So that's something you just talked about the Rougarou a minute ago, and a lot of people associate that with Louisiana only, and they forget that the major point is it comes from France. It's far older than Louisiana, and I hear stuff all the time of I think werewolves are misidentified as Dogman, blah, 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 because you can't physically transform like that to destroy your body. And people forget the major part of a werewolf, and that's the black magic side of it. Magic doesn't fit with common law, common physics. It's different. It's going to do things. That's why you hear it all the time about how it's painful, the first few times you do it. Um, that's why I disagree. I think there's a difference between Dogman and werewolf. One's natural, one's magically created. But when you're dealing with
Yeah,
magic,
can I
that
tell you something
throws
now?
out your physics. Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you this. Do any of you out there know why us native people always greeted with our hand in the air? Can you tell me that? Okay. Whenever we said how, Cola, or we said hello in sign language, we always put our left hand up or our right hand up, and it shows that we have 5 fingers. First off, separating us from a bloodline of 6 fingers. Correctly, Corey, correct. Okay, but that's not all. Okay, usually, whenever you are under a curse, especially whether it is a werewolf, a rougarou, or whatnot, you're going to have a sign, and it's usually on your left hand or your right hand. Okay, it could even be on the back of the hand. But the reason we raised our hand to say hello was not only just because of the 6 finger thing, it was to show that we didn't have the mark. Okay, that we didn't have a curse attached to our body. Okay, so that being said, and I bet you a lot of you didn't know that. Okay, that's something that only medicine people know. Okay, we don't disclose that. Okay, I did right now though. All right, so whenever somebody presents themselves as saying hello and they hold their hand up, you know that they're showing you that they are who you are seeing and nothing else. Okay.
We did have one question. Let me get back up to it here. Why don't you hear about them in South Florida? I'm
Probably
thinking
because
he's
South
probably.
Probably because South Florida is full of gators and other creatures too. That there's something to be said about also the people that migrate to those areas. South Florida is going to be more of a melting pot, okay? Whereas the Louisiana swamps into Texas and parts of Arkansas and Mississippi and all that are going to be Cajun. Okay, they're going to come. That bloodline is going to come from the Cajun people, the French Quarter people. Okay, the people that specifically came here, Arcadian. Okay, from France. Okay, and they brought that curse with them. All right, so it's not to say that it can't happen in southern Florida swamps. Okay, it's not to say that it can't happen at all anywhere in the world, as a matter of fact, because if you have the type of people that carried forth that belief, that folklore, okay, that attachment to their bloodline, you're going to have the capabilities of having that creature in your area. Okay. Everybody says, "Oh, I see a skinwalker here, a skinwalker there," and da 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 da. Well, there's certain parts of the country that specifically have those legends and certain tribal affiliations. They are predominantly known for the Southwest. Okay, but I can tell you very full well that it also comes around the Great Lakes and into the Appalachian Mountains. Don't ask me how I know. I know, trust me. Okay. So, that being said, when you're dealing with that type of a curse, you know, if there's a French population in southern Florida eventually, maybe there is something to it. Maybe they possibly could have that brought on into that area. But it's my belief that it's because of the influx of the Cuban population being there in South Florida more than anything, that you know the whole voodoo and hoodoo and all that type of stuff would kind of limit that French curse from being occupied in that southern swamps of Florida. Okay, that's not to say that it can't happen though. Anything is possible.
Mhm. Next question's, oh, what's the sign? I have road maps on both hands.
It's the sign is going to look like a birthmark. It's going to be a dark or a blood-stained color, black spot. Yes, sound wave. You're right. On your left or your right hand. And like I said, it could be the front of the hand or it could be the back of the hand. But if you notice, whenever you greet Native people, you're going to do it from being in the center of the people. So people are going to see your hand when it's raised, back side and front side. Okay. So
I'm getting caught up on the comments and seeing if there's any questions too. I'm a little far behind on the comments. But yeah, it's uh yeah, the old hag, yeah, it's a witch, a ugly, grotesque witch, an old hag. Um, that's what that means.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm still trying to get caught up here and see if there's any questions. Well, come on now. My freaking who? Okay, I must be caught up. Okay, never mind. I'm caught up.
All right,
Okay.
cool, cool. Now you were saying about the Rougarou,
Mm-hmm.
about it coming from France. Now we know that
Mm-hmm.
also with your Norse bloodline that you can shed some light on that aspect of the
Mm-hmm.
that type of a
Well,
reaction from the Norse bloodline.
so in all actuality, the Norse side of it is very similar to the Celtic, to the um, skinwalker, and that's you don the skin and you take a potion and do a ritual. We don't know for sure on the Ophanar side, but the most common theory to it is you don the robe of the wolf, you drink a potion, do a chant, and you transform into this thing. My question has always been to it. I've been known to go into that state of mind just out of pure anger. So I don't know if it's something, I don't know if it's like I tapped into a small part of it or if you got to have that potion to do it. I don't know. But just like the Celts, the skinwalkers, and a lot of other cultures in the world, you don that, you take that potion, you do the chant, and you become that thing. So, I mean, that's the whole question I go back to. Why does people think that dogmen or werewolves are misinterpreted as dogmans? I mean, you got clearly throughout all cultures in the world of dark magic to be turned into a wolf or some other creature as well. It's just we're talking about the wolf now. Because I mean, what does werewolf mean? Wear the wolf. You're
Hmm.
wearing it. You know, any type of beast is the same thing. It's just werewolf has the most popular concept. You can be a bear, you can be a boar, you can be a buck, you can be a hyena, you can be a whole bunch of other different things. It's just the
Which, by
wolf
the
is the
way,
one that.
yeah, which by the way, when you're dealing with the Rougarou on Louisiana, especially, there have been reports of it looking like a wild feral hog human combination. Okay, so
Mhm,
the Rougarou curse can actually fluctuate a little bit too in description. It's not always a
mhm.
dog, okay, or a wolf, kind of a human combination. Go ahead.
So, Main House has got a question here. Would black moles, warts be a mark if on the palm of the hand?
It's got to be a very, very significant mark. It's got to be something to where the curse that when it was passed into you, whether it was genetically passed into you through your bloodline or whether it was transferred to you as a hex or a curse from a witch or dark magic, um, it would be something significant. Okay. I just got done holding my hand up to the thing.
Okay. Soundwave wants to know: Are dogmen mostly nomadic? Do they leave signs like Bigfoot does in its home area?
Well, back in the old days, in the 1800s, they weren't very nomadic. They were cursed that way so they wouldn't be able to leave basically their homelands of the Nahanni Valley and the Yukon area of Canada. Okay, so they were pretty much stuck there. Okay, and that's where a lot of the legends and accounts of all the weirdness happening out of the Nahanni Valley coming forth. But since then, yes, they very well could be a nomadic, just like any pack of wolves or coyotes are. But they're going to stay within a certain area. Okay. Um, I, for one, can tell you for a fact that even the Grafton monster and Bigfoot are nomadic to a point. Okay, they're going to do because what they've learned over the years is from native people. Okay. And, back in the old days, folks, we followed the buffalo herds. Okay. We followed the game and we followed the changing of the seasons. Okay. Wherever the game went, we went. And whenever it got, to where we couldn't deal with the drastic winters, we would follow often the elk and the buffalo and the deer to hunting grounds. I think that if I was to say a certain geographical area for any forest people or for dogman, I wouldn't just limit it to a 50-mile radius. I would give them at least a 300 to 350-mile radius of an area that they could actually, travel to and from on foot. And you got to remember, and this is the thing, it's gotten a lot easier to have encounters and to experience them in the middle of morning. Okay. And what I mean by that, it's anytime between midnight and 4 a.m. Okay. Those are the times when you're going to see them and catch them traveling. Very seldom will you find them traveling during the daytime, because they don't want to be seen. They don't want anything to do with humanity. I mean, hell, neither do I anymore, to tell you the truth. But that's a whole nother story. Candy, good to see you. Um, so it just goes without saying, if you have a certain pack of cryptid creatures, they're going to migrate to a point, okay, and it's just my opinion, and my opinion only, from dealing with this for so many years, that I'd give them probably 300 to 350-mile radius to travel. So because you're going to find signs, you're not going to just find them bending trees over or building structures like a teepee for shits and giggles. Okay, you're going to find them doing it because they claim it as their home. Okay, so if you find it within an area, you know darn well that they've claimed a certain spot as their home, and they're giving other forest people and other cryptid creatures that travel and migrate the opportunity to say, hey, okay, well, somebody else has claimed this, so let's move on. And if they don't move on, hence you have what we call the cryptid wars. Okay, and cryptid wars have happened in the past. Okay, Dogman and Bigfoot have happened and had wars in the past. Okay, so that being said, you have to take that in account. Okay.
Mhm. Now you also got to take into account through many cultures they talk about villages of dog-headed people. So I mean, there's in some instances they're going to stay in one local area, and they're known to trade with locals around that area.
Right.
They're known as the most fierce warriors around. So I think it's probably a little bit of both. Some are nomadic, some are stationary.
Yep.
I could be wrong, but
Yep.
Soundwave says, "Are there reports of
I have
dogmen
never.
killing Native Americans?"
I have honestly, I have never had an account told to me of anybody being unalived from a dogman. Okay, they've had the shit scared out of them. They've been tormented to the point where they never went into the woods again, or never went back to their hunting spot again. But I've never heard of anybody being unalived by them. So, and you have to take in consideration too, Bigfoot does the same thing. The forest people do the same thing. When they feel that you are putting them and their family in jeopardy, or their pack, they're going to be aggressive towards you. Okay. They're going to want you out of that area. That's just the way of it. Okay. When you're dealing with whether you want to call them forest people or whether you want to call them a pack of dogmen or whatnot, you're dealing with something that has more family oriented feelings towards one another than even humanity does, more especially today.
Hmm. Yeah, I think if they ever did, it's probably because somebody put them in a corner where they didn't have a choice. It's like, well, you're either going to unlive me or I'm going to unlive you, and I've got the
Yep.
bigger set of teeth and claws. So guess what happens?
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Here, let me.
Oh, crap, check. Jump in here. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions while I'm
Yeah,
getting
they're
caught
getting
up.
going.
Okay, no more questions. So
Bigfoot dwarf,
yeah,
good to see you, bud.
but yeah. So I mean, that's something you got to think about, and I mean, everybody's got their own opinions on this stuff. Ain't none of us know the truth behind it. Our ancestors did. You know, we can only go off what they say and then what we've experienced. You know, I've lived with my guests for 33 years. You know, and I live in an area that's known for Bigfoot and Dogman. Have I had extremely loud wolf howls? Yes. Have I ever been attacked by anything? No. Have I ever tried to shoot something like that? Hell no. I think if I did, then I probably wouldn't be
No,
here
we were
talking to
we
you
were
right now.
growled at. We were growled at and basically cornered off right here on our own property here in Virginia
Mm-hmm.
not too long ago. I think it was like 2000 and before I got cancer in 2019. We were walking Jacob late one night. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we were literally one was to this side of us and growled, and I mean it growled. It was within, I'd say, 25 feet of us, and when it growled at us, it shook our insides. That's how that's how powerful of a growl it was. And then the second one was between two parked vehicles, and it stood up. And I always carry my sidearm with me wherever I go, because it's an open carry state. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I pull my sidearm, and I shined my flashlight at it, and it ran off into the wood line. So, you know, there are accounts out there, know, I think that they're doing it because first off, they don't expect us. I mean, who would expect somebody to walk a dog at 1 o'clock in the freaking morning? No, it's the time away from humans and explore and hunt for themselves, And so yeah, usually when it's a human encounter with them, you're dealing with an encounter that is just it's a fluke, okay? Unless you're meant to see them and you're meant to have an interaction with them, it's going to be a fluke, okay? They're not ever going to expect to see somebody at 1 o'clock in the morning, that time in the morning, because 99.9% of the time they never do. They observe from a distance, just like a pack of wild dogs would do. They observe from a distance. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, has there been violent encounters with them? Yeah. I think it's either they got in their territory or there's something wrong with them or they did something to them. But as far as death, I've never
mm-hmm.
heard of a death. And we may not know. They may get rid of the signs and carry the bodies off. I mean, that may be why we never heard of it. I'm not going to sit there and say it ain't never happened
Exactly.
because, well, I'm pretty damn sure it probably has happened. It just there ain't enough evidence of it.
Exactly. I'm going to show you something here I got on my phone, and I'm going to show you something that most people don't get a chance to see. Okay. So I'm going to see if I can get this to show up on my screen, and I want everybody to take a look at this. Oh, you'll have to take that down. Can you see what that is?
No, it's too blurry. Is that a cat?
That is a buck.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
that's a
Okay, I can see.
160 to 200 pound buck up in the branches of a tree. Okay. Now, how did it get there?
Storm or something put it there.
Or something, yeah.
Bounty says, do you think they show themselves every time someone goes out? I find that hard to believe, especially if the human thinks they are fake. I don't think
No,
they
I
show
don't think they
themselves
show
every time.
themselves. No, not at all. Not at all. Like any true cryptid, they don't want to incur. They don't want to even deal with humanity. You know, like I said, Bounty, I don't even want to deal with humanity anymore. So, if if our own people can feel that way, I don't see any reason why a cryptid like Bigfoot or Dogman could feel that way either. Um, they are more connected to the environment first off than humanity, especially now. Um, the ones that incur them more often are going to be the ones that are more connected to the environment, which is going to account for a lot of your hunters coming across them. Okay. So, unless you're out in the woods a lot or live out in the country a lot on a secluded area, those are the only probable times when you're going to have true encounters. Okay. You could go out into the forest every day of your life for hours a day and never have an encounter. Okay. But that doesn't mean they're not there. So,
Hmm. Roxanne says, aren't dogmen also considered protectors of the first also? And I'm assuming she probably means First Nations.
forest actually is what I think she said.
Uh, no, of the first. Or of the fiercest.
She probably meant forest. That'd be my
Yeah.
guess. But yeah, yeah, buck and a tree wizard. That's correct. Um, yes, they are. But one thing you have to remember too is that whenever you're dealing with Native American legend, um, some of those things were brought forth with a supernatural connection. Okay. A lot of the cryptid reports that you see in cemeteries and graveyards, you're going to find have more of a supernatural connection than anything. Not to say that they can't manifest in physical form. Okay. So you all know my beliefs on that. But yeah, they technically could be considered almost borderline elemental, if you ask me, because they're in the woods all the time. They're in the forest all the time. They're a part of the environment 24/7, 365. Okay. We're the ones that stepped away from the forest and living upon it and living within our means from it. Okay. We're the ones that blew it. So they still have the it. We don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like I'm caught up on the comments. Yeah, I mean they're the both them Bigfoot and Dogman are the world's leading contenders to hide and go seek. Man,
Mm-hmm.
they are the champs.
Exactly.
It was like I was talking. I think it was on my show last Sunday with Angie. I was like, I've spent 33 years dealing with the ones around me. I think that's why I have all the activity I got because they've lived around me for 33 years. They know
Mm-hmm.
me. They've learned me. They know my smells. They know my demeanors. They know all that stuff. So I think that's why I'm fortunate enough to get the activity that I get.
Right.
Sound was that? Do the Dogman and Bigfoot get along sometimes?
Yeah. In fact, I've actually heard legends and stories of them actually hunting together, especially
Mm-hmm.
when game is scarce and sharing the bounty of the hunt. The same thing they did with the native people back in the old day. So before we lost that communication ability and their willingness to want to participate in trades and stuff and all that and the
Mm-hmm.
games. So
Yeah. So I mean, I've heard both. I've heard they do work together. Heard they don't. I'm going to say that's probably going to have to do with either one disrespected the other, and that's why they don't, or the game in the area is just not plentiful enough to support the two. It seems like in areas that's got plenty of game, they work quite well together. In areas that they don't, they don't. So I
yeah,
mean,
and
that's
but
just.
you got to consider this too, guys. Those though Eric and everybody, they are not separated by each other except for what they are. Okay, which is
Hmm.
one is Bigfoot type and another is a Dogman type. Okay, whereas humanity, you don't you probably wouldn't see a Democrat or a Republican hunting together. Okay, you probably wouldn't see a Muslim or a Christian hunting together. Okay, and so on and so on. So they don't have these same separations that humanity has, putting limitations on their lifestyle. Okay, only humanity does. Okay, and why we let them get away with it is beyond my understanding. Okay, so if we actually want to get along, you have to accept everybody for who and what they are, and especially when times are tough. Okay, and you know, like with the plagues and stuff that happened in the past, and the famines that happened in the past, the potato famine. Um, people worked together during the stock market crash. People worked together. People came together and pulled together resources. And helped each other out. What's to say they can't do the same thing because they're not separated by and pushed to believe so strongly in hating each other. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but
Hmm.
humanity has limitations they put on everything. I don't believe they would. I don't believe they have any limitations. If they get along with their neighbor, whether it's a dog man or a Bigfoot, and work with them and hunt with them and stuff to survive together and to flourish, why wouldn't they? So just my
Well,
belief.
humans are the only ones that have a concept of time. Humans are the only ones that think they can change time. Humans are the only ones that think they can change the calendar. Humans are the only one that has borders. Humans are the only one that has freaking race differences. I mean, that's just humans. And Corey, I'm glad you said that. Let me bring that back up. I forgot that is one encounter of deaths, and that was LBL. That is
Well,
one encounter
that
that I can remember now with LBL.
that has been. Uh, there's still they're either covering it up very well. You're talking about the thing that happened in the 1980s, and I've
Hmm.
actually investigated that. And even though there are accounts of people supposedly seeing, the investigation of it going on, um, there's something inside of me says that it wasn't a dog man that did it. Okay, and my reasoning for that is because there's more Bigfoot encounters in that area than there is Dogman encounters. Okay. And what I'm thinking, and this is just a thought, okay, this is the way I process things. What if it was a Gugway? Because Gugways are known to be very vicious, okay, and ripping people apart just for the hell of it, not even for food, just to rip them apart, okay? So what if it was a Gugway that did it?
Didn't they find
Kind
a
of looks,
large wolf track here?
not to my knowledge.
For some reason, I thought they did. I'm kind of sitting there laughing in my head because I just realized I look like a floating head right now on the screen. It's the Halloweeny.
Yeah, see,
Uh,
even Corey said it.
yeah, that was Martin. I was talking about the campers. So that's the only report I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. I mean,
For some reason,
I've never heard of
I could.
somebody being unalived by a dog man. I've heard of them getting brown pants moments, but never unalived. And I'm coming from the old history. Okay, I'm not talking about current day. Okay, so I'd have to check into that a lot more than what I have right now. But as far as I can call in my recollection from the past, that nobody's been unalived by it. The one attack that happened in Michigan that was filmed in the 70s was proven to be a hoax. Okay. That video was proven literally to be a hoax. That guy came forward and said that he specifically bought a 1972 Ford pickup truck because of the year. And he bought clothing because of the year, you know, and, all that. And the location was hand selected, to make it look like it actually happened. And it didn't. Okay. It didn't happen. He faked it. Okay. So that's why I'm a firm believer that maybe, just maybe, that a lot of these dogman encounters that people are saying that are vicious, and being unalived, maybe they're Gugway. Because I'm telling you, from native oral tradition and history, Gugways are very, very vicious. They don't care
Mm-hmm.
about nothing. They will rip you apart and then just step over you and walk away and leave you there for the vultures. That is what they do. They are vicious. So I'm under the belief that maybe that's what they're dealing with in the LBL. And again, it's just my
Possible.
opinion, but yeah.
Urso says, how many hunters go out with their own dog scents on them, especially a dog in heat, would attract a lot of things. Yeah.
Very true. I got to get more coffee. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. I'm really fighting to keep going here.
Oh, I am too. I'm starting to think I should have made me some coffee.
Yeah, I've gone through. This is my 5th cup within the last 2 hours. It's been a rough week so far. I heard a putty cat.
Yeah. They're talkative. My youngest moved back in the other day, so they're talkative.
Thinks she actually thinks she probably hears me talking about her. Yeah, yeah, lots of sugar. I wish I had it. Oh, that's going to be a commodity pretty soon, people. I'll tell you right now. Coffee and sugar are going to be money. So I can't believe how expensive coffee has gotten.
Oh God, yeah.
No, I don't have any pumpkin spice.
I got pumpkin spice flavored coffee.
No, not me. I drink it black and I just put a little bit of sugar in it. I can't with the first cancer that I had when they removed my esophagus. I can't. I got to be careful what I eat and what I drink. So black coffee and water are pretty much what I can drink. Um, but if I get anything flavored, I can't use creamers because of the cream. It reacts to the acids that were in my once stomach, which is now my esophagus, and I will be immediately vomiting it all back up if I had that. So yeah, it is what it is. You know, I'm actually lucky to be here. I'm lucky to be as you know. I was literally told by the surgeons that I was a guinea pig. So the surgery that they performed on me was literally I was a guinea pig. So hazelnut creamer is what I used to use all the time because you could cut that back on sugar intake. But yeah, here we are talking about coffee.
I like hazelnut too. I ain't gonna lie, caramel's one of my favorite ones. Every now and
Yeah,
then I got to have what I call my bougie coffee. My bougie coffee is I got to have some sugar and creamer in it, but
yeah.
generally I don't. Or I make a redneck cappuccino and I put hot cocoa mix in it.
A redneck cappuccino. I thought that was gonna be would be made with hot sauce.
No, nope, it's a hot cocoa mix. You mix your hot cocoa in with your coffee. Redneck cappuccino.
Did you guys ever have the real Mexican coffee? The
Hmm.
real coffee, the real Mexican coffee, the stuff that
Hmm.
burns when it goes down. Hold on a second. I think I got some on the shelf here. Yeah, here you go.
Nescaf. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it is literally loaded up with cinnamon, and I
Hmm.
mean it is strong cinnamon.
I want to. I've been trying to look into that mushroom powder you mix in with your coffee.
Oh yeah, the what is that? Ari?
I can't remember. I'm real leery about that stuff, but I've been kind of interested in it.
Yeah, unreal. It's definitely hot. Definitely. It's good, but it's very spicy.
I didn't know coffee originated from Africa. I thought it came from South America. Huh.
Actually, coffee did originate from South America. Um, the uh,
That's what I thought.
the the I forget if who I think it was a French princess had to marry royalty out of Colombia in order to get the rights to transfer the coffee plants from Colombia to France. And then from there, it took off all around the world. So over time,
Yeah, that's why I thought it did. That's why I was like, well, I didn't know that because I thought it came from South America too. That's where the coffee bean came from.
all right.
And then the British people found it and got a hold of it, and the Turks did, and it
Yep.
all became a big, huge deal.
Yep. It became one of the biggest imports and trading things around the world, other than silk back in the day. You know,
Well, tobacco
silk.
was one of the biggest, but yeah,
Yep.
coffee was with it.
Yes. It was the big four. Here was the big four. Okay. you had coffee, you had silk, you had tobacco, and then you had oils from like Arabia and stuff, like myrrh and frankincense and stuff like that. Um, so those were the big four back in the day for trading. Nowadays, they make shit up and trade it. Bitcoin.
Yeah, tea was a big one too, but tea was very expensive. So I mean, only mainly rich people got tea.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
love tea. I'm out of. I just used my last two tea bags. I need four to make my big thing, but I only had two. So
Oh, hillbilly. You would say that. Hold on here. I'm going to show you something. I hear you, Putty Tat. I hear you, Putty Tat. This
yeah,
is just one of my bags of chaga. Just one. I have a lot more. Chaga.
I did
Chaga.
Bigfoot dwarf. I did Chugga. You can use chicory with your coffee to make it last a little longer too.
Yep.
Chicory's pretty good for you as well. One of
Yeah,
these days,
Muchi.
I'll have to set up where I can do my own tobacco.
Yep. Exactly. Well, anybody else have any questions about the Dogman or werewolves or anything like that? Like I said, your left hand, okay, you're going to have a mark. It's going to be something on the lines of a birthmark. If it's genetic, if it's passed through your bloodline, um, some people, I don't know how, but some people believe that if you have a pentagram on your palm, tattooed on your palm, that makes you a werewolf. And in all practicality, the pentagram was actually devised as a protection. Okay,
I got a big SW.
a form of protection. Okay, so just like the zigzag symbol for the Norse people, for the Viking people, being a protection. What I mean by the zigzag, as I mean by the sideways pyramids, So there's all kinds of marks out there that people translate into evil, and the majority of the time it's a misconception. Okay, so it all depends on how you present the symbol, in what mannerism you present the symbol. Do you present it in a way of hey, Camo and Jessica, in a way of in a bad way, a dark way? Then yes, a pentagram can be bad. Okay, and you can curse somebody with it. Okay, but for the most part, no. It's just going to be a simple mark on your hand that you have on your hand. Okay, and it could be in the shape of
You know
anything,
what
really.
Can anybody tell me what the pentagram was before it was a pentagram? Somebody twisted it and turned it into the pentagram, but it was something else before then. Let's see if anybody can guess what it is. And I'll give you a hint. It deals with Christianity.
Oh, I'm not even going to say it, but I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I got a back spasm going on right now, guys. Squeezing the lung air out of my lungs. Yep, main
It was the
house,
Star of
exactly.
David.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the Star of David. There we go. Unreal finally came up. Yep. Star of David. Before the pentagram was the pentagram, they turned the Star of David upside down and then drew a circle around it and created the pentagram. Evil is always trying to turn good into evil.
Yep. Exactly. And that's why we are in what we are today. The predicament that humanity's in today is because of that same principle. So
Yep. So
anyways,
and that's why we see it. I mean, like look at the Nazis. They turned the symbol of peace into their deal.
Yep. Yeah, Muchetti, I want to get with you about the whole herbal thing too. We'll do a podcast together. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, man. Like we need an herbal show, man. Like that's gonna be something popular, man.
Yeah, but we're gonna leave Brown. I almost said Brown Dwarf. We're gonna leave Bigfoot Dwarf out of it, man. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, he's got his own song now.
Yeah, I know.
Yep. So.
Well,
yeah,
everybody, I want to make sure everybody has a good, a good holiday as far as Halloween goes. Enjoy it. Get lots of candy. Don't hurt no kids. Don't give kids a brown pants moment just to steal their candy. That's not right. Okay.
That's the only way I can get any.
And yeah, Muchetti, we'll definitely get together. Let me know, okay? Let me know. Get a hold of me on Facebook. All right. Anyways, tomorrow morning, I'm the way I've been feeling in the mornings lately. To tell you the truth, it's getting harder to even get up for the morning shows. So I'm doing a show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And it's going to be about an hour or so long. And it's literally going to be about my research over the years with the paranormal and some of the connections that I've made and that possibly everybody in the chat has made. So that being said, 8 o'clock tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. It'll be there. And hopefully you guys will join me. If you can, share this out. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And please give it a thumbs up. Okay. They are trying their damnedest to demonetize me every step of the way. And, with the price of prescription medication, I could definitely use the actual, $100 a month that I would get. So from being monetized. So, anyways, what do you got going on for tomorrow?
Campfire chats tomorrow. And I don't know what Sunday show is going to be yet, and I think I'm supposed to be on with DA tomorrow as well. If you guys missed it, I was on with Jessica last night. We had like a 3-hour show last night. So if you guys missed it, it was a great time. Go over and hit Jessica's channel up. We had a good talk. We had a fun time last night, and then I think
Jessica,
I have my show.
You don't like.
But I think I'm supposed to be on. I missed it last night. Said you were on a podcast. DA said you were on a podcast. Yeah, I was on. I was on Jessica's last night. You're welcome, Jessica. But yeah, so I got that stuff going on. It was a fun one, Tanya. And then Sunday, I don't know what topic. I'm so brain dead and tired, man. I don't know. I have like zero energy, so I've not done it. I have started a new book though because I couldn't get it out of my head, and it's I'm trying to get the first chapter of it finished so I can get it out of my head and worry about it later on. Um, hey, Pancho, but it's called Spectre. Rogue Agent. It's a spy book that I'm working on. Uh, okay, I guess I'm confused. Hit me up later, Roxanne. I think I'm confused. My dyslexia and tiredness is kicking in. I think I might be misreading what you're saying. Um, uh, but I'm sorry, I'm tired. Yes, I've been trying to work on that, updating my phone, updating my computer today. It's just been one of those days where I'm just like, yeah. Oh, I am. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I knew I was misreading it. So, yes, I am on William's show tomorrow as well. So, busy weekend. I didn't hear back from that one author. I may have to do a Saturday show with her. So, instead of the Friday once a month writer's workshop, I'll probably get with her because she has a show when I'm usually putting that on. So I'm probably going to do I'll probably do a Saturday show with her on the writer's workshop next week. I got to email her back. Because I don't want to really do a pre-recorded one on that because then you guys can't ask your questions that way. So I may sacrifice a campfire chats next weekend and just do a writer's workshop. Is that way she can be on. So that's pretty much what I got going on.
Good, good.
Besides, I learned something very valuable today. Oh my God. I'm just thinking about it. Black beans does not take the place of beef, y'all. Oh my God. I tried to do that earlier. That was nasty. Oh my God. Never try to supplement black beans for beef. That was
Dude,
so
you're supposed to
nasty.
mix it with stuff. You're supposed to mix it
I
with stuff.
did.
What did you mix
I
it with?
did.
Poison?
No, I did. I mixed it with the ingredients. The only thing I didn't have was the oatmeal, so I used flour instead to stiffen it up.
Oh my God.
That was so
Did you use a
nasty.
binder? Did you use a binder for
Yeah.
it? Like an egg?
Yeah.
You did? I don't know, man. That answer
Yeah.
seemed kind of hesitant.
Oh no, I had to think for a second. I think the only thing I didn't have was the oats, so I had to use flour instead of oats. And oh my God, it was so nasty.
Next time grind up some mushrooms. Put mushrooms in it and it'll taste a hell of a lot better with sea salt.
I'm scared to try it again. But I ain't got, I'm waiting on my paycheck to hit so I can go get some food. So I was like, man, I'm freaking hungry. And I've been eating homemade flapjacks for a couple days. So I was like, I got a bunch of these damn black beans. I don't like beans, but hey, I got a recipe to make beef patties from black beans. Nope, never again. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Next time use sea salt and mushrooms in the mix. So
Sea salt and mushrooms. All
yeah.
right. Yeah. I don't know if I want to try that again, man. But I was like, I really don't want homemade flapjacks again because that's what I've been eating is homemade flapjacks and butter and honey. And oh, oh God, oh my God, it's so nasty, Bounty. Oh my God, it was so nasty. Oh. Yeah, I was like, no, yeah, no,
No.
Fluffy's not doing this again. Fluffy will just be hungry.
Yeah. I got to get myself back in the Cryptid Huntress's good graces to even come on her show again. So, maybe some of my family in the chat can twist her arm and get me to come on sometime. So,
You gotta, you
but
gotta, you gotta, you gotta entice her with chicken fingers and tater logs.
Oh, I thought it was black bean burgers.
No, no, it's chicken fingers and tater logs. And then you got to be nice to the dragon too, because she's the mother of dragons. So you gotta do that as well.
Uh, uh,
Yeah,
anyways, y'all,
yeah.
everybody, yeah, have yourself a great Halloween. Okay, enjoy it. Like I said, watch out for that mark. Okay, and question everything, guys. And we'll see you all tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here, same bat time, same bat channel. Take care, everybody. Happy Halloweeny.
Peace, love, and blessings, everyone.
Thunder cracks created steps in the alley. Demons scatter quick, shadows play a rally. Angels pull up in hoodies, wings tucked tight. Heaven's militia ready to ignite. Chains rattling, streets screaming in pain. Evil out here wildin', trying to stake its claim. But the squad don't sleep, nah, they don't fold. Flame swords drawn, their wrath runs cold. Creator fights for you, the streets can't deny. Angels on patrol, wings cut in the sky. Evil runs, evil hides, it's a battle every night. But the light don't lose, nah, the light gon' fight. Concrete jungle where prayers get raw. Creator got that blueprint, he lays down the law. Angels circle the block, halos dim for war. They ain't here for peace talks, they settle the score. Knuckles crack, fists fly, darkness gets smacked. Evil got no alibi, caught in the act. Holy vengeance on deck, justice intact. Creator's army on the streets, never off track. Midnight sirens, but they don't need no badge. Heaven soldiers turn sin into ash. Midnight sirens, but they don't need no badge. Heaven soldiers turn sin into ash.